Hello, everyone, and welcome back once again to Wizard World Virtual Experiences as the crowd emojis wildly. You can also applaud from the comfort and safety of your home, but we won't hear you. So show us your love by hitting that emoji button. Give us those likes, those hearts, those happy faces. However you're feeling, show us that you are there, and go ahead and throw in the chat where you are watching from. We love these Wizard World virtual experiences because they are streaming to you free and live on Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube, bringing that Comic-Con life to the comfort and safety of your home. We have a very exciting guest coming up in just 1 minute, but first, a few housekeeping things. This is Wizard World Virtual Experiences. You can find out more about what's upcoming at wizardworldvirtual.com. Again, that's wizardworldvirtual.com. So check out those upcoming panels. Just like next week, on January 30th, we're going to have the cast of Stargate SG-1, Stargate Atlantis, and Dolph Lundgren. That's happening next week on January 30th. So definitely tune into that and tune into our social media to find out all those upcoming amazing panels that are streaming free. The panels are free, but there are also some paid experiences you can interact with as well. We have live chats, autographs, video recorded messages, and virtual photo ops. And just so you know, this next gentleman, Chris Kattan, who's coming out in just a second, will be doing his live chats today. So you have up until the end of this panel to purchase those live one-on-one chats. It's truly a once-in-a-lifetime experience to hang out with your favorite celebrities. So head to the Wizard World Vault. That's wizardworldvault.com to purchase those live one-on-one chats, which again, for Chris Kattan, will be happening today, immediately following the panel at the top of the next hour. Go ahead and submit any questions that you have in the chat. We have fans tuning in already from all over the place, from Florida, Canada, California, Texas, New York, the Philippines, Wales is tuning in, Minnesota, Cleveland, Ohio, Boston, Massachusetts, and the UK are all tuning in. So again, we have fans watching from across the country and around the world, all here for Mr. Kattan. Let's bring him out now. You know him as the voice of the titular character Bunnicula. He also did voices on Hotel Transylvania 2. You know him from hit series like The Middle, How I Met Your Mother, and he was a contestant on Dancing with the Stars. He has been in such films as House on Haunted Hill, Monkey Bone, Corky Romano, Undercover Brother, and my personal favorite, Night at the Roxbury. I know a lot of you join me with that. His book, which was released in 2019, is Baby Don't Hurt Me, Stories and Scars from Saturday Night Live. We know this actor, comedian, and author as a cast member on SNL, and we love his characters like Mr. Peepers, Mango, Azrael, Antonio de Banderas, and he is one half of the Butabi brothers, Doug Butabi. That's just scratching the surface of all these amazing characters. Please welcome to the virtual stage, Mr. Chris Kattan, everyone.
Oh, thank you. Hi, everybody.
Chris, thank you so much for being here.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Of course. The fans are already stoked. Randy Schreiner, who's tuning in right now, said, I'm from North Carolina. I've been waiting for this Q&A for weeks since it was announced. I love Chris Kattan. A lot of people shouting out their favorite movies already. Corky Romano, obviously, Night at the Roxbury. Everyone tuning in. So thank you so much for doing this. This means a lot. I know you've joined us at our physical shows in the past, but it means a lot to the fans that you're here.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, but it means a lot to the fans that you're here virtually with us now as well. I want to kick things off. We have a lot of fans that are already asking questions for you, but I just want to kick things off as a fellow improviser and just speaking on behalf of all the improvisers out there. You were a member of the Groundlings, one of the most famous improv troupes and sketch companies in the nation. I know you followed in your father's footsteps, but talk a little bit about your early days in the Groundlings, what that was like, and then how that ultimately led to your being cast on SNL.
Well, my early days, when my dad was a Groundling, I used to go watch him perform. I was like 6 years old, so I got to see him perform along with people like Paul Rubens, and I got to see him like create Pee Wee Herman and Cassandra Peterson, do like Elvira and Phil Hartman, those guys back then. So that inspired me to want to be a Groundling at an early age. But when I was a Groundling myself, or I became a Groundling after doing classes and the Sunday show, I was there along with, Lisa Kudrow and Will Ferrell and Jennifer Coolidge and a whole lot of people. I mean, that was right before I was asked to be on Saturday Night Live. So it was a great experience. The Groundlings really is what educated me and made me prepared for Saturday Night Live, really. It prepped me to be a great writer, or as good of a writer as I am anyway, and learn about sketch comedy to the most I could, to the highest degree I could possibly become and know of, So the Groundlings was a great experience. It was really, I think someone said, I don't know if it's true, it's harder to be a Groundling than it is to get on Saturday Night Live, supposedly.
I believe it. Yeah, I believe it. Well, because Saturday Night Live is a little more curated in the sense that they reach out and find folks and then audition them. Groundlings, you're just competing against the thousands and thousands of
trying to get in there. Yeah,
comedians out there. Talk a little bit about, though, what was it like when SNL first reached out to you and you had to do that dreaded, maybe not dreaded, but that's very scary audition process. We love the DVDs that came out back in the day because everybody was able to see everyone's audition process. Talk a little bit about that and how that kind of went down.
Well, let's see. I was it was at the Groundlings that I was spotted by Marcy Klein, and she then told Lauren Michaels about it, and I was flown out with Will Ferrell and Sherry O'Terry, and we auditioned. I think Steve Carell was auditioning at the same time, and Jennifer Coolidge, and somebody else was too, I forget. Maybe Kevin Hart, I think. I'm not quite sure. But we're all auditioning that same day. Daryl Hammond was, I know that. And it was, I think you were asked to do 4 original characters, and an impression. So I did Mr. Peepers. I did School Forester, who was the double crop, the double talk guy.
Yeah.
Like, good afternoon, I'm Simon. I'm going to be your subcommunity 5, Miss Dassa. That guy. And I did a guy humping a couch, which is whatever. It's kind of like, I guess it was like Roxbury, but Will wasn't there yet. So, Will wasn't the audition.
Was similar character type.
Similar, it's something humping. So I guess it's similar. And what else did I do? Oh, I did an impression of Christian Slater interviewing a vampire from Interview from a Vampire. And it was like, so I went, so you're a vampire? The story you're telling me is amazing. It's incredible. So that was, that was my Christmas Slater.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. So it was hard because you weren't able to hear anybody react. They were dead quiet because they were doing via satellite to Burbank, NBC Studios in California. So it was hard to decipher what they were doing at all. You just could not tell, what the feedback was.
And did you immediately? How soon after that audition did you find out? Like, did you actually fly back and kind of wait a few days? Did you know immediately?
You waited how long did I wait? Well, I first. We waited a couple days, but I found out I didn't get it at first. Will and Sherry did get it, and I didn't. And then they hired me. If you read my book, it talks about it. They hired me 6 weeks, 6 shows prior to the end of that season, and that's when they hired me. But before that, they said no. Basically, they just didn't call me, and I didn't know what was happening. And they called Will and Sherry, and I was really bummed out. That was because I wasn't there on a Groundling night that Lauren happened to come down. I was out of town with my girlfriend, and I didn't know that Lauren was coming, and nobody in the Groundlings told me he was coming. So I missed that show. But I think if I were to be asked to be on the show, I would have known a couple of days into that week, I think. A couple of days after I auditioned. Like Tuesday, Thursday, maybe Wednesday, Thursday.
Nice.
Of that week. Saturday, yeah.
Yeah, and for all the fans out there, I've got a little image of the book over my shoulder there.
That's
Baby,
right.
Hurt Me.
Very nice.
And a lot of the fans are talking about it now. Suburban Writer said your book is beautiful. I agree. There's some really just nice, heartfelt stories, and true stories.
Right.
What was that like, kind of going back and reflecting after the career in SNL, the TV career, the movie career? What was it like to kind of go back to SNL and write your stories?
It was really, as they say, cathartic, and it was so interesting to find so many stories. I had no idea that I had so many great memories there. Obviously, there's the memories of the sketches I did.
Sure.
Whether it's more cowbell or humping Tom Hanks's head as Mr. Peepers. I don't know. You got to remember those. But there's also just the whole behind the scenes process that was memorable too. And when I started thinking about it, there was just a lot of experiences. I will always remember that were some of the greatest experiences I've ever had. And a lot of those, when you read the book, you'll hear that. But there's a lot going on that it was great. It's also like interesting to imagine just looking back on your own life and pinpointing all the greatest moments.
Yeah.
And you're like, at first you're like, well, there really wasn't that many great moments, or you're like, oh, there's way too many to think of. And you'd be surprised how many great moments you have, or how many little moments you have. It depends,
Yeah.
It's always a different perspective after you initially make that choice, And I think it's just, it's probably a really healthy thing to do in general for anyone, is to just look back on their life and write down their greatest moments and their most cathartic moments, or the moments that really affected them the most in general. So you either look for those great experiences again, or you make sure you never have those terrible experiences again. I think just in general, it's a great thing to do for anyone, whether you're writing a book or not. So I was lucky that it happened to be something that a lot of people wanted to read. So yeah, but I think in general, it's a good thing to do. I don't know if that's something they do in therapy. Maybe in therapy they advise that. Maybe they go like, hey, would you look back? I want you to do a homework assignment tonight. I want you to look back on your life and create, look at the greatest moments. I don't know. Maybe they do that in therapy. I haven't been in therapy yet, but
yeah, I'm sure there is some sort of writing down and going back and reflecting on past experiences. 100%. You just did it in book form, and so I think it's
right.
Great.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, and Chris Tyne, one of the fans watching, has an interesting question about the book. Did kind of reflecting back on your personal stories, whether they be super positive and good memories, or setbacks that you write about as well. Did that prepare you to handle life now, like where the industry is, kind of where we are globally in this pandemic? Chris Tyne's asking, sort of like, did that reflection influence your life, like now, handling everything?
That's a huge question.
I know.
So wait, what part should I answer? So wait, he's asking,
did overcoming sort of your personal stories and setbacks better prepare you for life today, essentially?
Yeah. Well, I kind of answered the same last question. Yes, it did. I mean, it does. It gives you preparation for the rest of your life, for sure. It also makes sure that you look back, and that's kind of the last chapter. It almost closes it and makes you realize that's a chapter in your life that you have to move on from. And now you can move on and go to the rest of your life, and make sure you either don't make those same mistakes and realize those setbacks and how you can grow from them. It's very important. So I hope that answers the question.
No, 100%.
Yeah, exactly. Everybody has a setback. I mean, Chris Rock his career was like literally just disappeared after SNL.
Yeah.
For years. And then he got a talk show and then disappeared again. Then he hosted a VH1 Awards show, and then he got hired, and then he just shut off, got his special going. And, everybody's careers are just so interesting. It's a matter of, people say luck, but I think it's not so much luck. It's like, obviously you have to be gifted. That's the number one.
Sure.
You have to be gifted, because I do believe the cream always rises. I really do believe that. And the rest is timing. You do have to be at the right place at the right time.
Yeah.
And I guess that could be associated with luck. But you also need to have good representation, for sure. And you need to have, and politically in Hollywood, that's another thing. The industry is another separate thing. You could be the most talented person in the world, and if the industry doesn't care about you, then there's not much you can do about it. Unfortunately. But that doesn't mean you can't have big fans through the internet, because there are the fans, and then there's the industry too.
Well, that's a great segue, because you have a ton of fans, again, tuning in right now from around the world. I personally am one as well. You're a comedy icon in my eyes. It was, growing up, your cast of SNL was like my cast, right? You know what I mean? And, I recreated scenes from Night at the Roxbury in my skit nights in high school. And, you know, a lot of the fans are saying, you know, Randy Schreiner says, I want you to know, as a father of 4 kids, I suffer from depression, but your movies and skits have helped me through some really dark times.
Wow. That's so nice to know.
Yeah. So just, so they're saying thank you as well. So
that means a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of fans tuning in with similar type things. It's helped us. It helps people get through some things. Comedy. Do you have any? Mr. Geek Me Out is asking about fan experiences as well. Do you have any?
Mr. Geek Me Out.
Mr. Geek Me Out is their handle. Yeah, Geek Me Out. Yeah, is asking about that specifically. Do you have any fan experiences that you remember throughout the years? Like interesting fans that have come up to you and said how much your work and your comedy has meant to them?
Yeah, very much so. I mean, there has been a lot of people that I think have gone through depression that have thanked me about that and have said, you know, as opposed to like just say you maybe laughed over the years, general comments, they've been very specific towards moments where they really had been, you know, where I have really helped them through some specific times of loss or pain or some real ailments, things that really did happen. That were some serious situations. And they talk about that and they say like, God, I remember when you were doing this certain sketch and I was having a real issue with losing my son. Like, oh my God, like this is pretty heavy, you know? And it really was something important to this guy. And to make that difference through comedy is amazing. I do remember my dad always said like, when you're going to do when you do your work on SNL, it's really good idea to make them kind of have longevity and become timeless.
Oh yeah.
You know, and I wanted to make sure my characters, because I always want to do characters. Mike Myers was a big influence. Yes. I saw that his characters had longevity. And but you know, that to do characters or do comedy that has a life of its own, whether you're watching it from the 1920s or watching it from in the future, it's still gonna work, you know, hopefully. And that it doesn't have something to do with something specific. That's why, even though, of course, I'm a fan of political humor, especially with what's going now. You know, I love what Donald Baldwin do with with Trump and, you know, what's happening with Maya and, you know, and Kamala and all that's going to happen. We'll see who's going to play Biden, but I guess it'll be.
I guess Jim, I guess maybe Jim to start. I don't know, but yeah, it'll be interesting.
Jim's not going to, I think he's not doing it anymore.
Oh, he's not coming back. Got it.
But I think he wants to stay in Malibu and paint. I guess. I don't know. He doesn't need it, Biden. But he wants to, yeah. Anyway, so but yeah, so I am a fan of political humor, but you know, it's not timeless. You know, I mean, I remember how big of a joke it was doing stuff about Al Gore or, you know, Bush, even Bush, like, my God, Bush jokes now they don't fly at all. It's crazy.
It's crazy.
Even in politics, we don't remember what he did to this country, how crappy some of the choices he made. We forgot because Trump is so bad, but that's another story. Anyway, but I mean, like, just a lot of political humor. Like, remember Dan Quayle? I don't know if anyone remembers Dan Quayle jokes. I mean, that was the hottest thing at one point, making a Dan Quayle joke.
Oh my God.
No one would know hardly anyone knows who Dan Quayle is right now, probably.
The potatoes. He's the potatoes guy. The potatoes guy.
But he made, potato, tomato.
Yeah. Right. Well, I want to talk about those characters because you're right. Creating timeless characters was, especially that whole cast of yours that you worked with, were really about that. And I think that's why those seasons of SNL were so good and they still last. Right. You know, my God. I mean, Mr. Peepers, you mentioned Mango, Antonio Banderas, the Butabi brothers. They still hold up. You still can go back and laugh at them. And I want to shout out to the fans that are all watching. We have people watching at 5 a.m. in Australia right now, too.
Oh, my Lord. Wow.
Put your favorite Chris Kattan SNL characters in the chat right now. I want to see who everyone votes for. But I want to ask you, Chris, because a lot of fans are asking. Lillian Gill and her husband are curious about your favorite character to play or to create from back then that you feel like is also like pretty timeless at this point.
Well, I don't know if I loved watching the Roxbury guys sketch with Will, but I did love doing them because it was such a rush. Because if anyone knows about the SNL sets and how they're set up, you know, they're under the bleachers, they're in Studio 8H, and there's like usually one sketch is one set usually, but I happen to overwrite a lot, and that really kind of PO'd the set builders a little bit. But I would have like, well, the Roxbury guys sketches usually had 3 or 4 sets because we had to go, dance in this club and then dance at this wedding and then dance at this place and then dance there. So like 3 or 4 sketches or sets to perform in. So because of that, you'd have a videotape in between to watch for those at home. But while that videotape is playing, we'd be on the set, in the studio at H, running from one set to the other, and in that time, it was such a rush from getting there, because this is live television, it's such a rush to be pulled by the assistant director. It was just so cool. Her name was wasn't it Jana? I think it was Jana. And she still works there. And she would pull us from one set to the other, and it was blasting, what is love, baby? And there was this panic, and the audience was like, boom, boom. It was just really cool. It was like being at a sports event or something. It's just really a rush. And it's the same rush that anyone else gets when they're doing a character and it's just killing, or doing stand-up and it's killing, as they say. It's a real rush, and that was the best part of it. I think it's more fun than watching the sketches itself. But except it's probably more fun watching the Blue Oyster Cult, the more cowbell sketch, than it was being in it. Although that was great to be in it, but we had no idea it was going to be as funny as it was until we watched it.
Yeah,
we had no idea.
So many good characters coming through. Obviously, a lot of the ones we mentioned, but Soil Forrester, we forgot to mention.
Right.
The coach, everybody loves the Girl Scout cookies, and RIP to Mr. Larry King.
I know, right? I just posted a picture of him.
Oh, so sad.
So sad. He lived a long, long life, though, man. But that guy, he, of course, Norm Macdonald did a great impression of him. But
yes, yeah.
He, that's too bad. I guess and Hank Aaron, of course. But
oh my gosh, yeah,
that's another hero. But Larry King was I'm lucky I got to be interviewed by him before he went. I remember going like, oh, I get to be interviewed by Larry King eventually. But he's such a nice guy, such a sweetheart, and he remembers. He knows people that he's talking to. At first I was like, is he even gonna know who I am? And he does, and he refers to specifics about you. I mean, that's the best when someone interviewing you is a fan. That makes a huge difference,
Yeah, totally.
That's always nice.
Yeah. Our love goes out to his family, obviously. Suburban Writer, you were talking about What Is Love, obviously by Hadaway. Suburban Writer said, were you ever given the opportunity, or had they ever reached out, the band Hadaway? Did they ever, because you made their song What It Is. Right. Right.
I know. We never got a thank you. Isn't that hilarious?
Gosh, ridiculous.
I think Hadaway is one person, by the way. I don't know if you ever seen the cover of that album, What Is Love. He's like, that's the cover of his album. He's got these shades on. Have you ever seen the rock video too for What Is Love? It's hilarious.
Oh my gosh.
It's like him in a haunted house and all these sexy girls are vampires. And it was like, what is going on? It's like, you gotta watch the video. It is so cheesy. It is hilarious.
That's
Watch
awesome.
The What Is Love video. That has nothing to do with Roxbury. It's the original video. And it's so funny. It's so bad. It makes no sense. But no, he was not, he did not reach out. Amazingly
rude.
Amazing.
Yeah, you made that song. The soundtrack of that movie is one of my favorite soundtracks of like 90s dance music of all time. It's so good.
Wow.
I want to talk about the film because Cynthia Langlow said my kids are 15 and 11 and they know Night at the Roxbury. Polly Mulcahy says Night at the Roxbury is my favorite movie. I watched it I've watched it a million times, but I rewatched it last year and I posted something and I said, Night at the Roxbury holds up. And I had like so many people who were like, oh my gosh, it does. Filmmaker Nathaniel Smith said, my God, when Chris Kattan slips on the floor, that might be one of the finest acts of physical comedy ever caught on film.
Right.
Talk about the legacy. You talked about a little bit about the character's legacy and being timeless, but Night at the Roxbury, again, it's still hilarious. It's still so fun.
Was. Oh, yeah. Geez, would you hold on 1 second?
Yeah, of course.
1 second. Hello?
No worries.
Literally, hello?
this is a good time to remind the fans, everybody, that while we're having this great Q&A right now, Chris will be having those one-on-one chats. You can purchase them at wizardworldvault.com. So head to the wizardworldvault.com to purchase those one-on-one chats. It's a once-in-a-lifetime experience, so it's a nice treat for yourself or your favorite loved one to purchase those one-on-one chats with Chris, which are happening immediately following this panel at the top of the next hour, 11 a.m. Pacific. And don't forget to head to the Wizard World Vault for those autographs, video recorded messages. There's a lot of people shouting out for Randy, would you like to buy some cookies in the chat? You can get one of those messages from Chris at the Wizard World Vault. So definitely take advantage of those. But yeah, we have a lot of great characters.
I'm so sorry. That was weird and rude.
That's okay, Chris. You know what? It was a perfect time for me to do your sales pitch, so it worked out perfectly.
Okay. No, trying to get in and they couldn't get in. Buzzed in, so they were like, I couldn't let them in unless I let them in.
Yeah, no worries.
Let them in the I had to let them in this forest.
You had to open the forest doors for them.
Yeah, the forest gate. Yeah.
Do you know those people over your shoulder? Or are those just random stock?
I do.
People?
I told them to hold off. Don't go too far. Stay where you are, and don't look back. Quite yet. So they've been doing that very well for the last 25 minutes.
Yeah, they're getting very impatient. I can tell though.
They are they're very friends of mine.
Oh, no, that's fine then. That's fine.
I don't treat them very well.
they can wait. They can wait. That.
Yeah.
No, we were just talking about the film and sort of the legacy of the film. It's it's one of the.
Right.
I think it's probably my favorite SNL character-based film of all the SNL films. But what does it feel like to know that it's still on TV, it's still getting shown, people are still showing their kids? What does that feel like part of that? Yeah.
Oh, it's good to know that it's still lasting. It's still one of those things that lasts. Like the Wedding Singer or, the Good Sailor movies, or it's up there with the other funny ones, the Tommy Boys. And, I'm really, it's an honor to be part of that tradition. It could be a long lost film that I just have to keep reminding people of. And they're like, I have no idea what this is. But there's a great following for it. So honored that people seem to love it still.
You got to work with some amazing classic actors over the films that you did. Obviously, Lonnie Anderson in Roxbury, Billy D. Williams, my gosh, in Undercover Brother, Peter Falk.
That's right.
Peter Falk and Corky Romano.
Very list. I love this list.
Oh, it's so good. And this comes from at PJ31710. What were some fun moments, maybe specifically with those three, but also does one stick out to you as being like a really cool classic actor that you got to work with?
Well, you mean on the show or just ever?
Well, those movies specifically. Obviously,
the movies,
those come up. Yeah.
The movies. I would say, you did. Oh, I know. Well, Undercover Brother, James Brown.
Oh my gosh. Oh.
Yeah, James Brown was so cool to work with. He was in that scene where I can't say because it's probably racist now, but all I did was say it loud. I was saying say it loud. He was saying say it loud, but I said something and I can't say what it is anymore. But you can watch the movie.
Yeah.
I'm something and I'm proud is what I said.
Yeah.
And anyway, so James Brown said that, and he had to do this take where he was doing the spin, and he only wanted to do it once, and he brought his lawyers. Apparently, he travels with his lawyers all the time, and which is funny.
That's hilarious.
The head of Universal was like, "Chris, he listens to you. Get him to do another spin." I was like, "Come on, James, give us another one." He goes, "All right," and then he did another spin. He goes, "That's it. That's enough." And I went, "Come on, James," and the head of Universal like. All right, come on, James, just one more for us. He's like, all right, just one more. So I remember telling him to give us one more spin, one of his favorite spins, because the camera couldn't quite get it. And he finally got the one that they wanted. So, yeah, it was pretty fun.
Yeah, it's a great scene where undercover. Spoiler alert, everybody! They capture James Brown, and Mr. Feathers is there, kind of interrogating.
Right.
Him, but and then he, again, speaking of legends, what a legend to work with at the time.
Yeah.
So cool. Holly, a lot of great comments coming in. Holly Keeperman says, I need to read the book. I'm buying one this weekend.
Right.
Sarah Pesto says, Chris is a legend. Talk a little bit. The subtitle of the book is stories and scars from Saturday Night Live. One of the sad stories, but something that you dealt with, was getting injured, during a SNL sketch. I know you talk about it in your book, but people are always curious about how you're doing, how your health is, like how have you been, and how has that been since that?
It's been great. My health has been really good.
That's awesome. Awesome.
No, that was a long time ago. So I've been healed and I'm fine from that injury, it's been a while, but it was something that happened, and it did affect me for a long time, and it's too bad it happened, and it was a bad accident, and I'm pretty well healed from it.
Yeah, well, we wish you. Yeah. I know the fans, again, so many people that came out today are just excited to see you. Laura says Chris is a legend. A lot of people.
Hi, Laura.
Comedy legend there. So what's it feel like to know that, again, you're connecting with all these fans from around the world and people still know you as the comedic genius that you were?
Well, that's a nice thing to say. I don't know if I'm a comedic genius, but I do remember recently, after the 40th anniversary of Saturday Night Live, well, actually, that was like 5 years ago, some people actually started acknowledging or saying to me, like, you're a legend. And that was the first time I heard that. I was like, wow, am I? Like, really? I'm like, okay, I don't know. It doesn't feel like I'm a legend. I don't think anyone, I don't know who would ever feel like, yeah, I'm a legend, unless they're, I don't know who would feel that. Bruce Springsteen probably, maybe right now. Everyone else is dead. That was a legend. There's a lot of living legends. But, I was really surprised to hear that. Everything came up. I don't necessarily think I'm a legend, but if I am, that is really quite the thing to hear. And that's really a wonderful thing to know. That means you can ask for more. I think, that's really cool.
No, I think, and I think you brought it up, but the fans are all kind of saying it as well. It's the characters that you created. You know what I mean? Maybe you don't consider yourself individually a legend, but the characters that you created are legendary, I think, and will continue to last.
Oh, okay, then never mind.
No, I think, you know what I mean? But so it's three.
I think they have stood their own. I really think that. I know Lorne Michaels always said you'll always be a staple on the show, like your characters will live on forever. So, that was cool. That was my main goal on that show, was to do that. So,
what was it like coming back? Another iconic SNL moment is I Wish It Was Christmas Today with you.
Right. Yes.
And Jimmy Fallon, Tracy Morgan.
Right.
When you guys came back and recreated that, it brought back so many memories for me. What was that like for you, getting back on set with those guys and re-performing that song?
Oh, with Ariana Grande?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh, the one on Tonight Show? Yeah, that was pretty cool. That was really fun because we all remember Tracy going like, the band's back together. He kept saying that. It was really cool. It was really fun. It's so sweet of Jimmy to do things like that. I mean, of anybody who really deserves the career they're having, it's Jimmy, because he's such a sweetheart. He's so gracious and always so kind, so giving. What a sweetheart.
Yeah.
He's just amazingly good person. He really is who he seems to be, and Horatio's a great guy, but they're all just really good. We're still friends, and Jimmy and I contact each other a lot, and he's just always the same guy, and that was a really fun experience to do. It was, I remember we were trying to get in the mode of like, what was the move I did again? Like da 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 da. It was like, it was so subtle. It wasn't that big. And like, what was it? It was like, because the whole idea of it was like, we do barely anything. We're doing, the effort we make is so little. It's so nothing. And that's what makes it so funny,
Exactly.
That we're not doing much at all. And that Tracy's like barely moving at all. He doesn't really care. It's also slightly not really caring what you're doing. That makes it so infectious. That makes it so enjoyable for people to watch, So that was really a cool thing to do, I think.
It was great. Sarah Pesto says you can't have Christmas without it. So it's become a holiday tradition for a lot of people, for sure.
Well, I know one of the fun things I got out of that is Ariana Grande DMs me every so often on Instagram.
Nice. There you go.
Every so often. She'll say, I'll put up a post and she'll say, right? And that's it. And then she'll say, Happy New Year. She did say, what is her catchphrase? She says, like, there's a catchphrase she has. It's so It's her thing that she says.
I know where you're getting at, and I just can't think of it.
Nobody says it but her. Maybe I'll look it up. I don't remember it.
Yeah, I'm trying to Google right now. The fans always help us out. The fans in the chat.
No, I don't even know if they know because I never heard her say it except on Instagram. She says, wait, hold on, I'll find it. I can't believe I'm trying to find this out. Oh, here, okay. She says, okay, this is my Ariana Grande again.
Oh, there you go. Nice.
You can't look. Okay. So it says, she says, when it was Christmas time, she goes, Merry Christmas and stuff.
That's her thing. That's her thing.
Did she say that to everybody?
No, I don't know. I don't interact with Ariana Grande.
So she'll say something, and whatever it is, and stuff.
That's funny. That's hilarious. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
What you talked about Ariana Grande. Obviously, that was a more recent guest, but oh my gosh, the amount of guests, an amazing guests that you had as hosts back on your time on SNL. We talked about movies, but Becky Pearl is asking about your favorite person to work with as host on SNL. Does one particular person stand out to you as a memorable?
Oh, I don't know. I already said Tom Hanks. I guess
Tom
I
Hanks.
don't know. I thought Jim Carrey was great. You know, when he hosted.
Yeah,
he was just so over. He just had so much energy and such commitment. I thought that was pretty amazing. You know, I thought he was great for sure.
Him and Tom are probably my personal favorite Roxbury sketch.
You're right. Yeah,
sure, yeah.
They were great. Yeah, they were great.
Randy Schreiner wants to know: do you still own Mango's shiny gold shorts?
I don't. Apparently, they're at the Smithsonian, which is hard to believe, but they're there. I know, right? What are they there for?
Like I said, iconic characters.
I guess so, but it'd be funny just for anyone to go to the Smithsonian and say, "Oh yeah, of course the Mango shorts are here."
So funny. Wolf Baby _ Seneca says, I'm immediately going to have a Chris Kattan movie marathon after this. And they want to know what's yours. If you had to pick which one is your favorite that you like when people talk about, what would you say your favorite movie is iconically?
I don't know. Everyone likes Roxbury. I like Undercover Brother. I think,
good.
You know,
yeah.
I think that's a funny one. You know, I recently saw House on a Hill with my girlfriend. And Cheyenne is her name. We watched Cheyenne Gordon at Cheyenne Gordon, by the way. At Shy Gordon is her handle, by the way. At Shy Gordon.
Hi,
and but she was so we like that a lot. House on a Hill. Some people that's a Robert Zemeckis. Joe, what's his name? Joel Silver produced it.
Yeah.
But that's a horror movie. But she really enjoyed that. So I don't know. I think those were both good. Probably
I love House on. Yeah, it was a remake, but it was a very good horror remake at the time.
It was pretty good. Yeah.
It's got some fun moments in it for sure.
Yeah.
There you go, Wolf Baby Seneca. Well, Chris, this has been great. Just to get a taste of your life and everything. We appreciate you for being here again. As a reminder to fans, just know that Chris is going to be at the top of the next hour. We're going to give him a nice little break. We'll be doing those live one-on-one chats, so you still have an opportunity to purchase those through the top of the hour and join Chris one-on-one. It's a once-in-a-lifetime experience. Also, video recorded messages and autographs. Chris, thank you so much for being here. Tell us a little bit about Real Cheese Eaters asking about comedy today and sort of what you're up to. Talk a little bit about, the fans and sort of any upcoming things we can see you in or what you've been up to lately, hobby-wise.
Well, you can always follow what's going on Instagram. I have Facebook that's been revamped, and I have a lot of projects coming up. A lot of things was on shutdown because of COVID. Everything is on hold.
For sure.
So I do have a number of projects, some TV show stuff, a movie I'm writing, and a couple of projects that are very close to happening, and two or three of them should happen by this summer, maybe fall, for sure.
Awesome.
You'll be seeing them. So yeah, and they're comedy. It's good stuff. So it's been a long time. So it'll be good to get them out there.
I was going to say, and we can't wait to have you back.
Thank you.
We appreciate you for being here. The book is Baby Don't Hurt Me, Stories and Scars from Saturday Night Live. Everyone, please give me another big round of emojis and applause. SNL comedy legend. We're saying it here, Chris. Legend. Chris Kattan.
Legend.
Thanks, Chris.
Thanks, buddy.
This
You're
has been
awesome.
so much fun. Oh, thanks, Chris. This was great and
Yeah.
for me. Don't forget to follow us at Wizard World on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We've got some amazing panels coming up. Like I said earlier, we have the cast of Stargate and Dolph Lundgren, a legendary action star, joining us next weekend on January 30th. And then we've got a lot of fun, exciting offerings coming up in February. So continue to follow us. My name's Mike G. I've been your host on behalf of Wizard World. This has been a Q&A with Chris Kattan, everybody. We'll see you next time. Have a great night.
Bye.
Bye.